There was tension in the air over there, and the seeds of fear began sprouting in her heart. Even from a distance, one could tell that she was scolding him. Intruders, huh? But how will I have children? Well, I'll teach you about that when the time comes. Instead, it would have been the province of the theocracy's most powerful special operations unit, the Black Scripture, whose members wielded the power of heroes. Then, let the area guardians like Gurin and Grant know about it as well. If this is another world, should I try to return to the real world? As for Mare, it's fine. It would seem that they were worried about money. Therefore, Inns decided to stop at a distance from them, and spoke in a kindly tone. You have been saved. As he watched the villagers from close by, he idly stroked a 30-centimeter-long wand under his robe. This splendid display of martial technique inspired Gazef's men and gave them a ray of hope. However, I forbid her to bring Jinyung Gagap. 4 colored crystal lamps glittered from the ceiling, and there were 72 niches in the walls. However, the effectiveness of these spells was several notches below a character whose class levels enhanced combat spells. It was now 3 meters tall, and its body was correspondingly bulkier. The time on his watch read 23:57. All hail Inns Oulgown. The timing of the attack came too close to our arrival at Irantal to be anything but a coincidence. Letting him hold it would be a good thing for me. Inns had a lot of the Yggdrasil cache items that he had given Gazef. Ah, yes, Vice Captain. Gazef Stranov, the renowned warrior captain of the Riestai's kingdom, did not see any villages. There was no sign of their earlier panic. As the fire elemental disappeared, Momanga could feel the link he had to it fading away, like smoke on the wind. His conclusion was that someone had fed the people of this world some sort of translation konyaku. In order to dispel his underling's fear, Nigun calmly replied, "It will be fine. That beast's claws are long and sharp." Gazef glared at the man with the scar on his face. Currently, with the guild weapon in his possession, Momanga could be said to be the master of the guild. He reached his hand out and touched an invisible menu, opening a page that only guild members could see. Only 100 of them had been made, so that meant that there were only 59 rings without owners. No, 58. The foe has their eye on the warrior Captain Dano, and if he stayed here, the village would become a battlefield. I have heard and understand your opinions. He nervously raised his eyes to peek at Momanga. Inns vanished as well. If I know how the angels were named, I can then understand how you can all use Yggdrasil's magic. The only people in the kingdom which could match up to the Imperial Knights were Gazef and his troops. There was vast wealth in the treasury. What does this mean? A cry of disbelief escaped Momanga's non-existent lips. How do you think they would feel about that? Although I fear to anger you, I pray you will allow me to speak. They looked fearfully at Lons and his men, while a group of children were hiding behind a wooden watchtower. She had been forced into her present circumstances. Do you want to fight it? After a moment of hesitation, Aura grinned innocently. Even if I were angry, I could not remain so after seeing how your sister scolded you. Mare looked in surprise at his sister. As Inns watched the magnificent sunset, he thought about what he needed to do. In the end, he decided to keep it with him. However, to Albedo, even the slightest blemish on her appearance was a failure. The magic casters began their counterattack, and cast their spells. Then again, that was better for Inns. Shall I prepare a drink for you? Oh, no, I'm not thirsty. They were the picture of battle maids. If they're still alive, I will rescue them. The sisters' eyes went wide as they heard Momanga's words. Tear their guts out? Ah! Gazef's men spurred their horses forward to follow their leader. He decided to call on other means. The chief's expression seemed honest and determined. The points of crimson light in his eye sockets seemed to shine exceptionally bright. In that case, there was only one reason he could think of for Albedo to be like this. If you interfere too strongly, it might lead to a civil war that would tear the kingdom apart. Though he appeared calm enough on the exterior, his heart was in chaos. Still, Gazef paid it no heed. The amulet of immortality, which constantly regenerated his wounds. They must have had excellent camouflage techniques given the way they had suddenly appeared out of nowhere. That being the case, the only answer for his present circumstances would be that a third party was doing something here, and it had nothing to do with the game company.